Ladies and gents, I am tired. I've had autoimmune encephalitis for 3 years. When I make a video, I do my best to put my best foot forward, put on a happy face, push through, try to give it information as best I can. But right now, literally as I speak, it feels like there are worms burrowing through my brain. It's a fucking horrible sensation, and it looks like it looks like I'm tripping on acid. It's fucking terrible. I'm gonna laugh my ass off when they come in tomorrow morning and erase that. Idiots. But it's something that I've sat in, this suffering, for so long. I used to find some level of beauty in it. You learn lessons from suffering and things like that, and I try to reorient myself towards that, but at some point the suffering just becomes gratuitous, and you stop learning lessons. And that's unfortunate, because I wish I could kind of turn things around and say, like, hey, like, I don't know, have some positive spin on it. And I try to stay optimistic as possible. But when you're in a significant amount of pain, let's say you broke your femur, you're not thinking about anything else except for your broken fucking femur. So when I'm in a lot of pain, my world becomes extremely small. And I don't think about much except for the amount of pain I'm in. I've already forgotten what the fuck I was talking about. It's been a rough 3 years, but there is hope. Finally, there's hope. I knew what I had: autoimmune encephalitis, rogue response to the immune system causing inflammation in the brain. Caused all sorts of fucked up shit. I had gender dysphoria for a period of time. Very unpleasant. I now have sympathy for people who have gender dysphoria. Hypersexuality. It's not in a good way. OCD, to the point where I was having, and I know it sounds bad, but it was like pedophilic thoughts that were intrusive. And it was fucked up, like with my niece and stuff, and it made me feel sick, like, cause it's hard to separate those things from who you are, and I had to learn to do that, and I've had to learn to do that, is to separate these intrusive thoughts that are disgusting or repulsive or violent from who I actually am, and just recognize that that's part of my neurological disease and not actually what I'm thinking. You are not your thoughts. Some things just come upon you. So I don't know if I said this already, but it feels like there are worms going through my brain. I have no idea if I said that. Anyway, I have nightmares of my brain in a box. I still don't know if I said this. Brain in a box, and it's filled with radiation. Or I'll have dreams where there are bugs crawling underneath my skull. And I'm tired. It's been a long fucking 3 years. Anyway, I took my dog to the vet. He's got arthritis in his elbows, and his shoulders are fucked up. And I cried over that, because I was like, damn it, I've spent the past 3 years with autoimmune encephalitis, just walking my dog up and down this damn fucking road, living in my parents' basement, suffering, unable to maximize his quality of life. I'd rather be going on hikes, going swimming with him, all this stuff. And we passed by his golden years, and now he's entering his golden years, his older years, where now he needs 4 months of rehab for his shoulders, and then all he can do is walk. So no more playing, no more running, none of that shit, no more hiking. So he's old now. He's officially old, and that sucks. And I have memories like it was fucking yesterday, picking this dog out from 10 different Labradoodles at a farm. And it was impossible to pick a dog because they're all so damn cute. And I just picked the one I liked who had the best nose. Because they all had different nose shapes. There's something about the fucking being a puppy. He had a little square nose. So I picked him out and I named him Watson. And on the way home, you know, I could smell his puppy breath and his soft fur that they just washed him. And he fell asleep in my lap, and his gigantic ears were just spread over both my legs. And it's reminiscent now of when he comes, sometimes he'll come over to me and when I'm sitting down, he'll put his head in between my legs and I'll just brush my hands over his ears on my legs and he'll just stay there. He's a funny guy, and he's my friend. He's been my friend, and he's been a rock to me during this whole time, you know, because it's like, it gets me out. I have to walk him. I have to feed him. I have to do these things, and it gets me out of the house and things like that. And anyway, yeah. So that's sad, and I cried pretty hard over that. Progressive arthritis, irreversible. It's gonna get worse, and I've seen dogs with severe arthritis, and it's not a pretty picture. So I'm going to try to take care of him the best I can to prolong his life and prolong his quality of life, even if that means no more playtime, no more hiking, no more that kind of stuff. Whenever I sit down and make a video like this, I don't exactly know what I'm going to talk about. In 2 days, my brother also has autoimmune encephalitis, and he started chemotherapy a month ago. Cytoxin, very immunosuppressive, crushes your lymphocyte count, modulates the immune system, and is top tier for treating autoimmune encephalitis. There are tertiary therapies that are very rarely used. The only one that comes to mind that I know about is intrathecal methotrexate, for example. But I don't know where the fuck you would get that. So a lot of people experience significant relief or remission from this drug called Cytoxin, a chemotherapy. And he's had improvement, significant improvement at the 1 month mark. He's doing laps around me, to be quite honest, and I can see it in his face. He's more alert. He's more social. I come upstairs and he's made 2 pans of fucking lasagna, and like, for a normal person that's no big deal, but for me, I'm like, how the fuck did you do that? Or like, have the energy to do that? Like, for my videos, you know, I try to put everything into my videos, but my fucking bed, half the time I just take all the shit off of it, like my pillows and blankets, and just toss them on the floor. I don't make my bed for a video, you know. And somebody insulted me, but I thought it was funny. He said, like, I hate this guy. He's just a talking head in a Hampton Inn, you know, because this looks like a fucking bear bed. I forget what the fuck I was talking about. Oh, he's having improvement. And so in 2 days, I'm going to go to Colorado to see my doctor, Dr. Piquet. I didn't realize exactly how good she was. I mean, I knew she was good by the way she was treating us. I didn't know how good she was until I heard that she was treating Celine Dion for her stiff person syndrome. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. No wonder she doesn't get back to me on her portal messages within like a week. She's like dealing with people with serious conditions who are a little bit of higher class than me. Let's put it that way. But an appointment opened up. I had an appointment in a month. I can't last a goddamn month. I gotta get on this goddamn medication. So I'll be going to Colorado. It's gonna be a 20-hour day, long ass day for a 1-hour appointment. And Cytoxin is in my future. And so there's hope, right? And it's funny because week 2 of when my symptoms came on, I can now say this with confidence, I took 800 milligrams of Advil. I had insomnia like crazy and overstimulation of my nervous system. And it all calmed down. Everything calmed down, and I was able to sleep for a full night. Thank God, because it was 2 weeks straight, and it went on for months after that of just getting like 2 hours of sleep a night, among other symptoms. So it was fucking terrible. And so I wrote in my journal, whatever I have is either inflammatory, is a neurological inflammatory condition, or I have systemic inflammation. That's what I wrote in my journal on like week 2. So I already nailed it on week 2. And then I would bring up the Advil story to other doctors, and they would shit on me and say, Advil's weak. That actually doesn't, your story doesn't make sense. You probably had a headache and the headache went away. Doctors can be very disparaging. 10 neurologists later, I talk to this doctor and I say, hey, this is kind of embarrassing, but actually this is what happened when I took Advil. And she's like, actually, Advil was used in early clinical trials for MS because it reduced the severity of MS lesions in white matter. I believe is what she said. So she didn't doubt it at all. And she actually prescribed me Celebrex, which is essentially Advil minus, I forget the mechanisms of action. It like inhibits an enzyme, but minus the gastrointestinal effects. Fuck, I forget what I'm talking about again. There's hope. There's hope. So 6 months of chemotherapy awaits me, and the possibility of remission, which just is mind-blowing to me because I've been living in despair and suffering and hurt and pain and hopelessness for 3 very, very long years. And it's crazy. I see things pop up in my Snapchat stories from 4 years ago. I'm like, holy shit, I was normal then. I was lifting weights. I was 220 pounds. I was fucking ripped, dude. I loved weightlifting. Now, if I held a 45-pound bar over my head for 40 seconds, and the next day, just to activate my lower traps, and the next day, I was absolutely destroyed hungover. I can't do anything. I've tried it. I've tried everything. I've tried 10 push-ups. After 10 push-ups and some sit-ups, fucking destroyed. I can't work out at all. And that's what I love doing, as a personal trainer and all that. Anyway, so the thought of getting better is just crazy. And there's getting better. There's the symptom improvement that I can get from Cytoxin, this chemotherapy. And then there's going to be a lot of rehabilitation afterwards, because you can't just be bombarded. Your brain can't be fucking just being bombarded by an autoimmune response for 3 years, and you not have sequelae that you have to deal with. So there's going to be things I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life, but I'm going to try my very best to regain neurological and cognitive function. And a lot of people have brought up the carnivore diet. And this is something that I'm going to bring up with my doctor in a couple of days. I don't know if I'm going to do strictly the carnivore diet, but I will probably be doing keto, because there has been some research. It's not like radically founded as far as I've looked. I've only just looked into it. For neuroprotective effects and neuroregenerative effects of ketogenic diets. And the carnivore diet I would classify as under ketogenic diet, although it is extremely exclusive of food groups. So I would like to do that. I would like to do whatever the fuck I can to recover. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I don't know what my future holds. I never did. Not a single fucking second of the past 3 years did I know what my future held. I've tried a bunch of immune therapies, and every time I was scared to fucking death. Cried every time. And every time I have a doctor's appointment, I grieve a little bit. Because I get scared. What if they don't give me the therapy? What if they kick me to the curb? I'm a little bit more secure now, but it hurt like shit when I would travel for 7 hours and I felt like I had dementia and I was hallucinating. And I would see a doctor and he would go, nope. Doesn't sound like autoimmune encephalitis. Seems like a psychiatric condition. See you later. And I would go out in the lobby and I would cry. And how many times did that fucking happen? Like, I've seen 9 neurologists, some of them more than once. So, 14 times I get kicked to the curb and I'm just crying in the lobby? It fucking breaks you, dude. But my brother and I kept pushing and we worked together as a team. And because we did that, we have the opportunity to escape this hellhole. Yeah. I guess that's it. I don't know why I sat down and wanted to talk, but yeah, I just wanted to spit some things out. Anyway, I'll keep you updated as per usual. I'll try to put out more usual content. That's not about my personal life. When I can, when I feel up to it. I never really feel up to it, but every time I see something that like pisses me off or I disagree with or I think is great, I have to make a video. That's just deeply ingrained in me. Like these past couple of videos I made about Maximus Tribe, I was digging into it and I was like, this seems pretty cool. So I made a video about it. So despite my suffering, there are things I've done along the way to mark points in my life so that I didn't just suffer meaninglessly for 3 years. And I think that's an important thing to do is have some sort of marker along the way when you're going through shit that you're making some sort of progress. You're doing something. I'm gaining a few subscribers a day. I'm making $30 a month off of YouTube. It doesn't and I'm putting it in an investing account. I don't care what the hell it is. That's small. That's small potatoes. I was making $70K doing 2 hours of work of video editing a week. So my net income is potatoes compared to what it used to be. But it's something, right? And I'll edit a music video or I'll do something, it's something that leaves a mark as you go through your struggles. Anyway. Appreciate you guys listening, and I appreciate those who care. And yes, I should be really excited about this chemotherapy. And I will be as I start to feel better. But like I said, perhaps I said it in this video, when you're in pain, your world gets really small. So back in the day when I was like, all I wanted was Cytoxin from the very beginning. 3 years ago, I was like, just put me on the top tier shit, And now I finally have it, and I'm not very good at celebrating. I'm not very good at celebrating achievements. So like, for example, when I was working out the gym, I'd do a 415 squat PR, and I just racked the thing and put it in my notes. And that was it. I'm not one of those people who like needs a slap on the back and the smelling salts, and then they do the fucking PR and they go and they're fucking, yeah, going crazy. I'm not that kind of person. I'm generally, outside of what this neurological condition has done to me, I have been, or I was, a very stoic person. Now, my decision making is not great. I made some poor decisions. Executive function is not great. Mood regulation, not great. So that's something I need to learn how to control, right? So it's like a neurological dysfunction where my mood regulation and decision making is not great. So I need to learn habits, right? So for decision making, I need to take a step back and take a few breaths. Let's say when I'm in a conversation, take a few breaths, or maybe even sleep on it before I respond or before I take action, instead of just immediately responding. Things like that. Where my mood dysregulation, I get heated. I need to take a step back, maybe sleep on it, and then come back with it, with a more logical mindset. So I have to overcome these neurological deficits or neurological instabilities through coping mechanisms that I've learned along the way, and it's been a tough learning process, and I've made a lot of mistakes, and I have hurt relationships, multiple relationships. Yeah. All right, guys. I'll stop rambling. Thanks for listening.